So that for those first couple years are super critical to be able to know, like, hey, I need to live as cheaply as possible until my bank accounts like start stacking, and then I can start spending a little bit more money. But it is overwhelming when you're growing very, very fast if you don't have all the pieces, the finance side, the marketing side, the knowing how the work and everything's going. It's very, very hard. It's like,
you definitely are good at that.
Failure is not an option. I'll work 100 hours. I'll work anybody to make sure that I don't fail and everything goes smooth as possible. Nothing prepares you, even though you grew up in the business, of starting your own company from scratch. Like figuring that all out and how you want to do it is really starting a new company. Even though you were born and raised in that industry, it's still a challenge and a struggle for sure.
Hey everyone, welcome to SMB in the Trenches. Today I have Seth Fenn. He's a third generation business owner. He owns a pest control company out in California. Hey Seth, great to have you.
Good, how you doing?
Pretty good. So how'd you get into the pest control industry? I know you're a third generation owner. Not sure if you have a third generation business, but how'd you exactly get into the industry?
Yeah, so my grandfather started a company 75, 80 years ago from today. And my dad took it over after, I think, around 30. He ran it for another 30 some plus years. So I was born into it, basically, grew up doing pest control and termite work my whole life. And then my brother runs it now. He took it over. I wanted nothing to do with pest control when I was in high school. I was working for my dad on and off and another contractor, and I was like, hey, this isn't sexy. I couldn't see the business side of it. I could only picture, like, I'm not going to be crawling in attics. I'm not going to be doing construction work, So went to college and went into finance for about 10 years, and then kind of got sick of finance. And then I went back to my dad and said, hey, let me start a construction arm off of your pest control company, and let me come back and manage the termite side, which was doing terrible. And so I went back, started working with him, and did that. Grew a construction company from zero to about $4 million in revenue in about 7 years. And then slowly decided, hey, I don't see myself doing construction work. We were getting into large scale projects. We're getting into $1 million to $5 million type projects, all multifamily stuff. I don't see myself doing this when I'm 50, 60 years old, just due to the logistics, the headache, the cash flow issues that it has. And so my dad retired. Me and my brother really didn't see eye to eye. So I moved out of their office. And as soon as I did that, I started my own pest control company, which was about 6 years ago. So
awesome.
That's kind of been in hindsight, I would have stayed in the trade and I'd probably be retired at this time right now. So yeah, but live and learn.
When it comes to the finance background, going to school for that, do you think that's helped you scale both these businesses? I know a lot of people are leaving these corporate jobs to go into the home service space that are in high finance professionals and whatnot. Do you think that's helped you scale to where you are today?
I do. I think just understanding the flow of money and, just understanding how to set up accounts and credit and all those different types of things, I definitely helped me. I got a real good learning in construction as far as cash flows concerned. I remember
people were getting killed.
I had $700,000 in receivables at one point, and I had $12,000 in my bank account. Yep. And payroll was due in 2 days, and then a 6-figure check came in that was owed, and then I went back, So that for those first couple years are super critical to be able to know, hey, I need to live as cheaply as possible until my bank accounts start stacking, and then I can start spending a little bit more money. But just having that gut feeling and just knowing, okay, hey, not spending the money you already made, basically, before it's in your bank account was super important and helped me out a lot for sure.
Yeah, that's a big issue in SMB today. It's I know a lot of guys are going into roofing. I say this all the time. And I've had 3 people in the past year go under. They were doing $500,000 a month a year ago, right. But they got hit with a cash flow crunch.
Right.
And they started taking out loans against their accounts receivable because they're waiting for insurance to pay them out. Right. And I know multiple people have gone bankrupt because of the cash flow aspect of things.
Yeah.
For me, we work with so many business owners. I see both sides, I see the guy who's a great roofer, but he's terrible at managing his business. Right. And I see the guy that's a great business owner, but he's terrible at lead generation and stuff like that.
Right.
So I see it every day, night and day.
Yeah, I think that finance aspect of things, of just being at a more
puts you ahead.
professional level put me ahead in the, I grew the construction company to one of the, fastest in our industry in the multifamily space. We were working for the Irvine company. And
did you sell that company?
What's that?
Did you sell that company?
No, I slowly kind of just shut it down. We have an arm off of our pest control company. We're just doing a lot less revenue and just keeping it real simple. And so I still have that. Just kind of changed the name basically. And yeah, it helped me a lot in the finance side, just understanding all those different things and being able to scale the construction company and then also scale Cura at a super fast rate. So. Because it is overwhelming when you're growing very, very fast if you don't have all the pieces, the finance side, the marketing side, the knowing how the work and everything's going. It's very, very hard. So,
yeah, I think the hardest part with growing fast is like the fulfillment side too. It's like if I get you ranked on top of Google Maps and your phone's ringing triple every month,
right?
You're going to get bad reviews then, because you're going to get bad reviews in the back end. Like maybe marketing's working, but fulfillment isn't, and everything just breaks.
For sure.
I feel like that's so important with scale.
There's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts, and it's overwhelming. I mean, with my background and knowledge of everything, the pest control side, the cash flow is a total different ballgame. Cash flow.
I was about to ask you that.
Cash flow is not a problem at all. A technician does a job, we get paid that same day on probably 70% of the work that we do. So cash flow is the least of my worries. It's just the fulfillment side, being able to manage the employees and the amount of work that ebbs and flows, and then look ahead of it and get ahead of what's coming and staff appropriately for it. So. And
how many trucks do you have? Like how many technicians?
I believe right now we're probably around the 25 to 28 amount right now. So awesome. Yeah, we've grown substantially. The last 12 months we grew by 130%. And every year since we started, we've grown by 50 to 100% almost every single year. So
nice. And what do you think's like the main driver behind that growth compared to your competitors?
I think my experience. I mean, I was born into pest control, so I know it inside and out. I know every little avenue of the actual work. And then I think just my relentless pursuit of perfection in everything, and just
you definitely are good at that.
Failure is not an option. I'll work 100 hours. I'll outwork anybody to make sure that I don't fail and everything goes smooth as possible. And so I think just having that, I'll drop whatever on a Saturday at 12 if something has to happen. Sunday, whatever it is, just nothing's going to go wrong. That mentality of never failing and never giving up is just, I think that's probably the most important thing to our success so far. So.
Yeah. No, every business owner I speak to, even we do the same thing at Stryker Digital. We're all about just working as hard as possible, doing whatever it takes for clients. That's most important.
For sure.
And then what percentage of your business is recurring revenue versus one-off? I know you said you do termites a lot. I know you do termites a lot. Are those one-off? Are those recurring?
Most of it's one-off. We do have a substantial amount of HOA work that will call us every year to do a big annual termite inspection on the whole property. But I would say recurring versus one-off, we're probably about, let's say, probably 75 or 80% is recurring. And then the one-off might be 20%, something like that. So
nice. Yeah. And are you more profitable on one-off, or you're more profitable on recurring?
A portion of the one-off is more profitable, and then a portion's not. So there's a portion that's as profitable as the recurring, but overall the recurring is much more profitable, easier to manage. Just it's there every month, every day. You don't have to rely on leads and the phone ringing. It's just there. So that's the nice part about it.
Now, the reason I ask, in the garbage space, dumpster rental space, the recurring business was actually lower margin, and then the one-off dumpsters were higher margin. So everyone would tell me recurring pays the bills where the one-off makes you the money.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it can be that way. There are some one-off stuff that's super profitable, but there's just not as much volume of it as there is the recurring pest control stuff. Our margins on the recurring are probably around between 70 and 80%.
Holy shit. So 70 or 80%?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
Holy shit. That's awesome. Yeah. That's badass.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
And what are your best marketing channels right now? What's your main lead generation source?
Our main lead generation source is my door team. So nice. we got into door to door. I got into door to door about 4 years ago. Knew nothing about it. I grew up LDS and Mormon, and so I knew about the space. I'm not Mormon now, but I just knew about it from growing up and all the guys doing it, and so I knew, hey, I need to find some Mormon kid.
Yeah.
And so I ended up reaching out to some kid that I used to go to church with, and I brought him in. So we, like, the first year we did it, we had one guy. Second year we had 2. Then we had 6, and then last year we had a team of 55. And so we really grew like substantially. So yeah, we put on about 4,000 accounts in 2025 in about a 5-month period. So that's by far our biggest lead source generation. Yeah. So.
And how are you like finding these door knockers? Are you like, did you find one Mormon guy and he built around like your whole entire business?
I found one guy, and then my technician actually brought me. One of my technicians knew 2 guys that were out of state and lived here, so they ended up knocking for me, and then they had 6 buddies they brought, and then that brought us to another group of guys that had a bunch of other guys, and it kind of spider web from there type of thing. So yeah, we probably have a team of about 100 coming out this year. We have another like 45 or 50 guys signed right now. So every year it just kind of snowballs type of thing. If you take care of everyone, things are successful when things go the right way. So yeah,
I didn't realize, like, because I'm from the Northeast, once I got on Twitter and posting online, the Mormon community, killers in business. Like,
for sure.
I would never open up a business in Salt Lake City ever, because everyone's an entrepreneur there. Everyone's a hard worker. Yeah. Everyone's good at sales, door knocking. I didn't realize that. It's insane how good at sales they are.
Yeah, they pretty much cornered the market and created that market. And when it comes to pest control, so
yeah, most of the guys realize they were out.
Most of the guys I have right now aren't LDS, so there's a huge market of just door knockers that aren't LDS. But I think the best ones are Mormon by far, because they went out and did their mission for 2 years. So they knocked on doors for free and got rejected way more than they're going to get rejected in pest control or any other type of sale. So they're probably the best at it by far.
And like, I know the more they get paid, your door knockers get paid commission. Like, you said you had like a 70-80% margin. So when they close a deal, what's your margin up front? Like, what's your upfront margin when they close a deal?
The first year in door knocking, we probably make nothing.
Yeah.
So we probably make I'll be happy to make 5%. It's just basically a wash. And then the second year, we're left with probably about our attrition rate is about 20% a year, which is really good for the door space. So we're left with 80% the following year. That's all house money basically at that point. And that's when the 70 to 80% profits kick in from there. And then, long term, the stuff we put on 4 years ago, we still have about 50% of it. So after a couple of years, those customers are going to stick more long term. So.
Yeah, no, it seems like a cash cow. That's awesome. We do the same thing. It's like we're fine with breaking even on the front end with marketing because of the recurring aspect. The back end's where you make the money.
For sure, yeah.
And that's any business. And it takes a lot of business owners like a long time to actually realize that, It's like you have to be willing to break even on the front end to get everyone else in the back end.
Exactly. So.
And what's been like your worst marketing channel? Like epic failure, you wasted a ton of money, it wasn't worth it.
I'm trying to think. I think one of the most important things for small businesses to try out is to try everything. I think I've tried everything. I literally will see someone post on X, or I'll get a random spam email, and I'll respond to the people, and I'll hear them out all the way through to just see if it's a good fit for me. And if it seems good, I'll give it a try. I'm willing to drop $5,000, $10,000 to just see if it's going to be a great marketing challenge. I think the worst one that we've done would probably be the email marketing. So I've responded to some email guys. I've done it a couple times, and I would say it's worst. It's probably the worst because we're not making money in year one. But I don't think I've lost money in the aspect that I've probably broken even in the first year, and most of it's commercial, so it's a long, slower grind to get all that stuff. But that's probably our worst one. So we're still making money off of it. It's probably just not profitable that first year, but it's all commercial mainly, and that stuff is our retention on that's probably 99%. I can count probably on one hand the commercial stuff I've lost in 6 years. It's very very.
That's probably why outbound's hard though, because if your churn rate, like if your retention rate's 99%, that makes sense. Why it's hard to break in anyway, because they're fine with who they have.
It is. It's a very long, slow grind to get into any commercial space. HOA, apartments, industrial. And
the sales process is completely different. Like with
cold email, process is completely different. So but that's probably our worst one. But I've done it all. I've done that. We do Actually, I wouldn't say that. I think Google. I had you guys run Google Ads, and I think Andy
Yeah.
told me, "Hey, you should just stop it because you're spending too much money. The return's not there." In our market, our market was super competitive for that, and Yelp here is the king king of leads here in Orange County. And so I think that's probably the worst one that we've done. So we don't do anything on Google as far as Google Ads are concerned. So, but yeah, that's the worst one for us.
Yeah, the problem with Google Ads in the pest control space, for anyone listening and like for you to know, Orkin has a really big Google Ads account that spends across the whole entire country.
Right.
So it makes the prices of Google Ads more expensive than everywhere else. Makes it really hard to compete with them. A lot of those private equity-backed pest control companies get killed when it comes to Google Ads.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. And then what are you struggling with the most right now with your business? Like, what's your biggest bottleneck?
I think the thing that we're getting through it, but we've come to a point where I've just been dumping everything back into growing the company and growing so fast. I think the only thing we're not struggling with it, but we're just getting through it, which is very hard, is systematizing the business. So building out a full training platform so that everyone's on the same page, we're responding to customers the same way, and everyone kind of understands the goal of our company, how we do things. I think that's the hard thing that, we went from zero to, I know I said I don't want to talk about revenue, but went from zero to about $7 million in 6 years in revenue. And so, last year we were at 3.1, and this year we finished at 7. And so, going from that type of revenue growth, and going from having 15 technicians to like 30 in 1 year has been a big struggle. So it's just. We're slowly getting there, but it is a hard thing to kind of get everyone on the same page with as well. So, part of our growth too, we acquired another company in April, and so that helped add to the pot. But that was a great purchase for us, and just getting them slowly transitioned on how we do things versus the way they've done things, and not rock the boat too much, has been a little bit of a transition.
And what CRM are you on right now?
We're using Pest Routes.
Nice.
Or Field Routes, yeah.
Field Routes, yep. I know that's the go-to for pest control.
It's one of the go-tos, yeah. Them and Pest Pack, I think Pest Pack's another go-to. So, but we started with Pest Routes, and once you're in one of those, it's hard to switch.
Yeah. No, we have the same thing. It's impossible to switch. And have you seen like production with your technicians like get worse, more customer complaints with the bigger you got?
No, not really. To be honest with you,
good.
I've one of the things I've tried to do better than my competition is pay guys more. So I'm willing to take a little bit less of a profit than I think some of the big companies are. Do a few less stops than the big companies are, so that we can maintain our customer service and all that kind of stuff. And so, I haven't seen it get worse, to be honest with you. I think it's probably gotten better because now I know more. Now we're all on the same page. The technicians know more. We have our processes and procedures kind of dialed in more than I had in the beginning years, So, because my growing up, I really was more on the termite side of our family business. And so I didn't do as much in pest control. And then nothing prepares you, even though you grew up in the business, of starting your own company from scratch. Figuring that all out and how you want to do it is really starting a new company. Even though you were born and raised in that industry, it's still a challenge and a struggle for sure.
So there's way more hats than just like doing termites, when you start your own company.
Yeah.
And what's been your most favorite part of this business? Like you said, you went from 1 to 3, 3 to 7. Like,
right.
Out of the revenue levels, like where were you having the most fun? Was it between 1 to 3, 3 to 7 right now? Like, I'm sure the bigger you get, the more you delegate and the less you do from like a physical perspective. I might be wrong there. But what was your most favorite moment?
Probably right now, to be honest with you. In the beginning, it was really slow. I was still running my construction company, and it took a good 2 or 3 years to really start building up any revenue. I don't think I paid myself for the first 4 years. I was just slowly letting the company reinvest everything back into growing and accumulating customers. And so, I think right now, I love the marketing side, so I love making the phone ring and working with SEO with you guys and dialing in everything. And so I think just working and systematizing the business and being able to just walk out of my office whenever I want and go golfing or go fishing or whatever I like to do, and know that like, hey, everything's fine. Like everything's handled. Like there's the fires that are being put out are by the office manager now, which I didn't have, a year ago. The general manager, which I didn't have a year ago. So all of that kind of stuff. I think right now is probably the best time that I've had so far. So.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm in something similar now. It's like the first 2 years ago in Stryker, if we're just balls to the wall,
Right.
And I'm in the same position now where it's like I am delegating more, where it's not all on me to
Right.
produce all the revenue for the business and everything like that.
Right.
It's
right.
a great
Exactly.
feeling. But there's something about the 1 to 3 million though. There's something about like building a business and seeing it work, going from 0 to 3. That's also like amazing feeling.
It is. It is an amazing feeling for sure. Yeah. It's almost like.
To look back on when you're in the trenches, you're like, that's why I named this podcast SMB in the trenches, because it's like you're in the trenches from like 0 to 3, and like
Right.
it's just craziness.
Right. Exactly.
And then where do you see this business like 5 to 10 years from now? Like what's your 5 to 10 year goal? Do you plan to sell this? Like what's your plan? I'm sure you can get a sick multiple with the recurring revenue you have.
I'm not sure.
Cash flow is a beautiful thing.
Cash flow is a beautiful thing. I think this year we'll probably shoot for 10 to 12 million. I don't think I'd have any inkling of selling until we hit 25 million. So I think within the next 5 years we could realistically hit that, probably no problem. And then I would think about selling or possibly doing like an internal transfer, to the right people and sales guys that we have that want to take over the business that are young and stay on and help run things, But I watched my dad, pest control's pretty, once you have your systems and processes in place, like it's a pretty easy business to run. And so, I watched him live a good life and, not work a whole ton in his later years. And so I might do something like that. And just, I don't know, it just depends. So I never had the goal to like build something and then just sell it and cash out and do nothing, because I love working. So I don't know what I'd do with my time. I'd probably want to start another business or do something else.
So unless you have another opportunity, it's not worth it. Like I sold a garbage company for Stryker Digital because it's just a better opportunity,
Right.
Just wasn't worth it.
And that's why I got out of construction, to get into a better opportunity in pest control. And so unless there was a better opportunity or something came up, that I was like, hey, I want to devote all my time to this or whatever it may be, I don't know if I would just step back, work less and less and less type of thing. So
yeah. And I assume you love the pest business, right? Like you love this, you love pest control, you love the business, or?
I love the business because it's just so easy to run. It's very second nature to me because I've done it for so long. And I like the business aspect of it more than, I don't think anyone loves bugs or spraying bugs. There's a few people out there that do, but it's just a great tool to build a business off of, basically. I love more of the back end business stuff, the finance, the marketing, and things like that. As far as pest control concerned, it's just a vehicle to grow a business with, and all the great things, the cash flow, the recurring that come along with it. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then like, what's your experience been like working with us at Stryker Digital?
It's been amazing. Like I said, when I was working with a big agency that field routes would kind of tell their customers to work with. I didn't know anything about SEO. These guys we're going to do your SEO, and they're building some blog posts and doing basically nothing for us.
I remember.
In the couple years I worked for them, I don't think our domain authority, I don't think anything increased a substantial amount of anything they did. Probably more from my reviews that I get. Is what helped us the most. And then I started going down the rabbit hole on X, honestly, and I started following a whole bunch of different guys on X and seeing what they were posting about. I'm like, okay, everyone's posting about backlinks. What is a backlink? I educated myself and just went down the rabbit hole. And then ultimately I interviewed a couple people and ended up, hiring you guys. And it's been great. I think, as you know, we went from, I think I had a domain authority of 8, and I think my last review we're up in the mid 20s or high 20s, and we're in one of the most competitive cities, let alone markets, Orange County, for pest control, I think, in the country. And right now we're ranking number 1 for everything.
Your domain authority is 24 now. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're ranking number 1 across the board for all kinds for a ton of different cities, tons of different keywords. We're number 1 in the map pack all over the place. So it's been great working with you guys, and the results are there. Our phone rings off the hook every month, and yeah, it's been great.
So you could say you got a ROI with us or services for sure.
For sure, yeah, for sure. I think the one thing that I like the most about what you guys have is Review Rover. So I just started that 3 months ago, and that little program has been amazing. We have, with our office in Temecula, and here I think I have 4 Google Business profiles. I believe we have 2 of them or 3 of them are 4.9 stars. One of them is 5.0, and I think we have probably 1,500 reviews across the channels, and I think all the pages are in the top 3 of the map pack for certain different keywords. So that little review profiles.
We made Review Rover for people like you. We made it for people like you. Review Rover is amazing for that aspect of things. Like it's reviews on autopilot. You don't have to think about it; they just come in.
For sure. And there's other ones out there. I think the thing I like the most is that when someone does leave a lower star review and that gets emailed to you, being able to reach out to the customer and handle that situation before it goes online live on Google has been great, because to me that just helps lock in those customers, let them know that we're a good company. We want to take care of their issues and make them happy. And so I think I love that feature about it the most. So
awesome. No, that's great feedback. I appreciate that. And then last question, any advice for someone else looking to grow? Let's say you were 25 years old again, looking to get in the pest control business. What would you tell a 25-year-old that's trying to get into this business? What's the first thing they should do, and what's the most important thing you think they should do, to go from 0 to 3 million like you just did?
Yeah, I think for one, you're going to have to go work for another company. So the great thing about pest control, there's a high barrier to entry. So you have to have your operator's license, and you have to have certain licenses. So I would say go get some experience at a company for a year or 2, then maybe go rent someone's license, work on getting your operator's license while you're renting a license. I did that because I had been gone for so long, so I had to rent a license for the first 4 years. And then once I got all my licenses, I didn't need his license anymore. That's pretty much the natural progression, is work for someone, rent a license, and then go out. And then I think the most important thing you can do is to live as cheaply as possible for as long as possible and reinvest every dollar back into your company. That's going to get you the fastest growth as quickly as possible. So, pad your bank account and reinvest everything back into marketing as quickly as possible. And don't be scared to spend money. I've tried email marketing, SEO, Facebook posting in groups. I hired a guy to do that. Facebook ads. I've literally tried every single thing out there, and ultimately at the end of the day, right now we kind of have our 3 that work the best for us, which is the SEO, our door knocking, and then obviously Yelp. So, and obviously whichever one gets you your highest rate of return is which one you want to dump the most money into.
Sweet. No, that's great feedback.
And you just have to be prepared to work relentlessly, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. When I first started my construction company, I think the first 3 years I was probably working 80 to 100 hours a week, 6 days a week, Sundays, still probably doing something as well. I think there was a point I broke down and almost cried probably because it was so hard. And then that 4th, 5th year is when things really start changing, and it's just not a quick overnight hit like everyone thinks. There's no magic.
That's the problem with social media. That's the problem with social media. People think you can just take out an SBA loan, buy a business, and you're paying yourself your salary you were making in your 9 to 5 a year later, which is just not true. It's not true. And
I think you can do that if you have the experience. I just did that with the business we bought in April. I took an SBA loan, I bought it, but that thing would have fell apart had I not had 40 years.
I'm saying the guys that imagine you left your finance job, your high-paying finance job, didn't have any experience in the industry, and then just went into a pest control business. You'd be over your head.
Yeah, the company we bought in April would have been, everyone would have left. They would have left. It would have fallen apart very, very quickly because they would have not respected me. They knew I didn't know what I was talking about, and they would have been out of there. So you would lose your shorts in that situation for sure. So I see people post about that all the time, and I'm like, that's just not a reality unless you have experience in. You have experience in running a business, you've done it before. Yeah, I could probably go in another industry and probably figure it out and do that. But for someone who's 25 years old, zero chance. Yeah.
Zero chance. Yeah. I got thrown into the thick of it at 21, I just figure it out and go from there.
Right. Exactly.
But no, thank you for coming on. Everyone, this is Seth Fenn with Cura Termite. If you ever need pest control in Southern California, curatermite.com.
Perfect.
Thanks for
Buddy.
coming on. Thank you.